What up, everybody? This is AVC, and today, since the coronavirus is making its rounds on people, I thought there's no better time to talk about this topic. What topic, you might ask? Well, that topic is vaccines. Should you do it? Should you not do it? And I'm going to go ahead and, for anybody that has any normal sense of decency and scientific literacy, you don't have to continue this video at all, because I'll just let you know, yes, you should definitely do it. Absolutely do it. It is insane to not do it unless your child or you physically can't do it because of an allergy or any other medical reason for that. But most people, they can. There's not an issue with it. They're just worried about what's in vaccines and what it can do to them and their kids. This movement, of course, I'm talking about the anti-vaxxers. Such a splendid group of people they are. And since they already get most of their information from random people on the internet, I figure, who better than me, a random person on the internet, to give them some information without bogging them down with too much scientific jargon, because God knows we're not looking for anything scientific if you're worried about vaccines. So a lot of misconceptions with a vaccine is that they inject you with a virus and it can get you sick. Like, why would I put polio into my system? It's gonna give me polio. Well, I'm gonna tell you, that's dumb. You're stupid for thinking that. Stop thinking that. What an idiotic thought. A vaccine is not a live or strong virus or germ or anything like that that they're putting into you. A vaccine is either a dead bacteria or germ, or it is a severely weakened one that will not have any sort of effect on your body where you're gonna get that illness. So then they also go, well, what about all the extra stuff that are in vaccines? Like, I hear they put formaldehyde in it, and they use that for people who are being embalmed in, who are dead. Like, that obviously can't be good to be in your system. Well, let me tell you about that. The extra substances they put into a vaccine actually are there to boost your immune system's reaction to that vaccine. So that way, whenever you get a vaccination, your body will react much better to it. You are way more likely to get an immunity to it, because that's what we're going for. We're going for an immunity. Some of the other substances that they add to it are actually there to prevent outside bacteria and fungus from infecting the vaccination, so that way you don't get sick from getting a vaccination. And I know you're worried about getting sick from vaccination, so you should be incredibly happy that they're putting this in there, so that way you don't get some other nasty random disease or illness from that vaccination. Basically, it's like an antibiotic for the vaccine to keep you from getting sick. Some of the other things that are in vaccinations that aren't just the dead bacteria are ingredients that help the vaccination stay strong and working, even though it might change temperatures or moving location to location. That way you don't get a bad vaccination that doesn't do anything for you. And if you're concerned about it, you probably either think it's going to do nothing for you or it's going to make you sick. So take solace in that. They add this extra stuff to make sure it does work and that you don't get sick, because obviously your child is your #1 concern. We all know that when you don't vaccinate your child. I mean, your kid getting autism is obviously far worse than them dying from a preventable disease. God forbid if they get autism. What a good parent you are for worrying about the autism that they definitely cannot get, I might add. What a good parent you are for worrying about them getting autism before their health and safety. You're doing a great job. Just let your child die because they could have a mental disability to form, which has no proof that that's going to happen, but, you know, a random guy on the internet told you that it could happen, or a random movie star told you that it could happen, so obviously they're the ones you should listen to before the medical professionals that dedicated their lives with years and years and years of research to back them. Go with the random movie stars and people on the internet. That's the way to go. That makes you a good parent. And since sarcasm doesn't translate very well on there, I'm going to let you know I was being sarcastic. Don't be a crappy parent. Get your kid vaccinated. They won't get autism. And if they do get autism, honestly, probably a coincidence, and you should deal with it because your child is still your child. Autism or not, what are you, a monster? Deal with it. Your child wants you to love them no matter what, and one way to love your child is making sure they don't die from preventable diseases. Oh, but they put mercury in some of them. That's what I was told. Mercury is a poisonous substance. How dare they put that in the vaccinations? The government's trying to kill us, obviously. Yeah, well, we also eat apples and we also eat pears, and, you know, that has arsenic in it, so why don't you go ahead and stop eating most fruits, since there are some substances in it that in a high concentration can be harmful to you. We wouldn't want that. In fact, you can probably stop eating most bread from most chain restaurants because that has ammonium sulfate in it, and that's used in a chemical fertilizer. I mean, my God, obviously if you've ever eaten bread from a restaurant, you're probably on your way to death. So stop eating all bread from restaurants as well. And don't even get me started on a lot of processed meats and shredded cheeses, because that has cellulose in them. That's basically sawdust. Oh my God, you're eating sawdust? Well, obviously you should stop eating most of these foods because it has a chemical in it that's used in something else. It doesn't matter what the concentration is. If it's in something bad, obviously the entire thing is bad, no matter how low the dosage. Gonna throw it out there again. That's sarcasm. Stop being an idiot. One of the big reasons we try to get everybody vaccinated who can get vaccinated is because we want to get herd immunity, which is most people can't get this disease, so the people who actually can't get the vaccination for medical reasons or whatever other kind of reasons can be safe from it, because there won't be people spreading it around for them to get it. We're trying to protect the people that can't protect themselves from this stuff, and you're screwing it up for everybody, so stop it. Stop that right now. Stop it. And then I generally always hear, well, if you're vaccinated, why are you afraid about my kid not being vaccinated? They won't get it, right? First of all, that goes against the herd immunity, and we're trying to make sure other children don't get sick. And on top of that, 1 to 5% of vaccinations have the chance to fail, which means 1 to 5% of people who've gotten vaccinations can get sick because your dumbass decided not to get a vaccination for your kid because of random information based on no facts. Try explaining that to a parent whose kid has a preventable illness because they caught it from your kid that you actively chose not to get a vaccination for. Did their kid have autism? They might have, but probably did not have autism, because vaccinations show no proof that they can make autism occur in anybody. But obviously, facts aren't really what you guys are looking for. You like things that are going to match what you think, because that's what everybody likes. If you have an opinion, you look up online to find the first website that agrees with you, and you're like, aha, I knew I was right. Look at this. Sharon from reception. Her brother talked to a doctor once, and that doctor gave her information. What information, you might ask? Well, that doctor that Sharon's brother talked to said that vaccinations can cause harm to a child. Oh, really? Well, I looked up peer-reviewed reports, and I have years and decades of proof backing up what I'm saying. You have Sharon's brother who might have talked to a doctor once at a bar. Give me a break, you idiot. Stop validating what you want to believe by finding the one opinion that you agree with, or talking to other people who also found that one opinion they wanted to agree with. You need to go with the medical professionals. You need to go with the peer-reviewed results from testing and all of that fun stuff. And I know that doesn't sound like anything you want to do, because peer-reviewed, oh man, that can't be good. That has a fancy dancy name, and I don't like that. We'll get over it. This is science. This is what science does. You go with the thing that has proof. People constantly try to disprove what something shows, and that's peer-reviewed. If multiple people do it and they all get the same result, that means that's probably the answer, and that is the case with vaccinations. Well, I don't need to get my kid vaccinated because I can just use essential oils. That's gonna work 100% of the time. Essential oils and all natural mumbo jumbo. That's what I'm gonna do instead of peer-reviewed results on things. Listen, essential oils can most likely alleviate symptoms of things. That's probably true. There's not a lot of evidence on it right now, but it does affect the limbic system, and the limbic system is in charge of like memories and emotions and behaviors and like your sense of smell. So it probably can help you with like anxiety and depression because it alleviates symptoms. It brings good memories. It can do all sorts of interesting things that they're still studying. So it's not anything that's guaranteed, but there are some studies that show that that could work. But guess what? It's not a cure. It's not going to cure anything. Alleviating symptoms does not cure something. Vaccinations give you an immunity to it. Vaccinations don't even cure it. They prevent it from happening. You're trying to stop diseases from happening before they ever start in somebody. Now, I tried to avoid using too many scientific terms because I feel like most people who don't vaccinate their kids either don't understand the scientific jargon that they're talking about, or they just don't care about it. So obviously, if I start using too many scientific words, they're gonna just space out, no longer care, go to a website, find somebody that approves of their opinion and be like, there, I told you. This random guy on the internet, he's the one that's telling the truth. Well, here's me, random guy on the internet, and I'm telling you something. Vaccinate your kids. Vaccinations have been proven to work. Stop being a dumbass. And if you want to use essential oils, go ahead and use them. They probably can help with various symptoms on stuff, but essential oils are not a cure for things. There's nothing that shows that essential oils and other things similar to that can cure anything. And if you're really worried about all the extra stuff they put in vaccinations, go ahead and stop eating apples and pears and stay away from peaches and don't eat bread at restaurants and don't have any shredded cheese or anything that could have cellulose in it because those are extra ingredients that are in stuff that you wouldn't want to eat. So obviously it's bad. At a bare minimum, if you're worried about yourself for it, you need to at least vaccinate your kid because you shouldn't take that chance. And that chance is you could be killing people, not just your kid, you could be killing other people, other children, people with immune system disorders, people who can't get vaccinations for whatever allergy or medical reason they can't, people going through chemo. You're putting all of these people at risk because you are being dumb. And I know it probably sounds like I was insulting and attacking you a lot, but here's the thing. You deserve that if you're not going to look into what you're doing if it has this big of an impact on people. Look how fast the coronavirus is spreading through the world. We don't have a vaccination for that yet, but when we do, people are going to have to get vaccinated for it because this scale of a pandemic should not be happening. Because when something like this does happen, look how devastating it is. There are a ton of people who are dying. There are people who are getting incredibly ill and having to go to the emergency room. And when we get a vaccination created for the coronavirus, you sure as hell better get your kid vaccinated for it. Because if your kid dies because you actively chose not to vaccinate them, in my eyes, you're a murderer. You killed that kid. So to end on a happy note, vaccinate your kids. Don't be an idiot. And take it from me, a random guy on the internet, the kind of guy you like to listen to a lot. Vaccinate your kids because it works. And hey, if you liked my video, feel free to do that whole subscribe thing. Maybe even giving this video a like. It's up to you. I'd really like it if you did it. I'll come out with some more videos coming out here soon.